this. And on the Dow 1440, we see that we are in an uptrend. There's nothing there to indicate that the market will go down. Over on the 720, which is directly beneath the 1440, we do have a wide bar that was generated yesterday, and we have a congestion dot up at 16,878. Then if we go down to the 180-minute chart, we can see that we've had upward movement, and other than that, it's not telling us a lot. If we go down to the 45-minute, you can see that price is approaching the ATR. That's really all you can say about it. So, overall, the market action for the Dow does look to be to the upside. The only thing that says it may come down this morning would be this wide bar. As most of you know, wide bars typically do retrace about 80% of the time, and it would be a 50% retracement on the wide bar, which would be, I would say, around 16,758. So, we may see some downward movement, and then it may resume. The other thing that the 720 is saying, it broke the ATR, but we formed a congestion dot here, okay? A lot of times, y'all have heard me say this numerous times. When we see that, a lot of times we will come back to test the ATR. Does everybody understand that? Anybody have questions on that? It flipped the ATR, James, but we formed the congestion dot up here. Normally, when that happens, it will come back down and it will test the ATR because it is looking for an area to support price to continue the uptrend. Okay? Do you understand it now? So I would not be surprised if we did have some downward movement this morning and then it resumed upwards. Okay? And again, that's strictly based off of the 720-minute chart. Okay? All right, let's go look at the ES. ES, you pretty much have the same scenario, except you are getting a magenta peak on the 180-minute chart. So that tells us that we may retrace back to this ATR if this does not go flat, and that's a big if there. Okay? So we do need to be watching this. Now, one of the ways to trade a 180-minute magenta peak is to go over to the 12-minute. It will flip the ATR, which it has done, and then it will come back and test the ATR. You want to read the volume at that level. Does everyone understand that? All right, let's go over and look at the NASDAQ. The NASDAQ looks very, very similar to what the Dow did. It's flipped the ATR, and I don't see a congestion dot above price right now on the 720. But I still kind of think it will come back and test the ATR. That's just me and my experience talking there. Other than that, there's nothing to indicate any kind of downward movement on the 180 minute. Okay. So as far as the NASDAQ goes, it looks like it's going to be upward movement because that's what the 1440 is saying, that's what the 720 is saying, that's what the 780 is saying. And if we zero down to the volume here, we can see that we're getting divergence right at the ATR here. Okay? So does everyone understand that? No, it doesn't look like much conviction to me, Dan. And in all honesty, I'm expecting a downward movement this morning. A lot of that, though, I think would be based on experience. Okay? And it takes time to build up that experience. And, of course, experience can also be very wrong. All right, any other questions about that? Now, I will show you what I've got on the Dow right now. And the reason that I chose the Dow just because I could get the best price on it. I did a spread that does not end until 4:15 this afternoon. And I did my spread level at 16,800. Now, I sold that. This is the ceiling, and I sold it. So if this does retrace the wide bar over here, that trade basically cost me $19 per contract. And if it retraces half of the wide bar, then I have the potential to really more or less quadruple what my risk was. Do y'all understand that? And I'll just show it to you over here. And we can mark the, I'm going to use this one to mark the lines because this is the one that I'm watching to manage the trade. The ceiling is at 16,800. Okay, we see that price on the right hand side. And I did have a question about this yesterday. The ceiling on these spreads are always on the right hand side. The floor is always on the left hand side. So, 16,800 minus 16,400 is going to be a 400-point spread on the Dow. Okay? It tells you it ends at 4:15 today. Okay? And my entry price was 16,781. So I'm going to actually mark that line in red. And I mean, this is the way I keep up with my spreads. And then I'm going to put another line here at 1681, which is here. And I'm just going to change this to blue. And that just at a glance will actually show me the ceiling of my spread and where the price was when I entered. Does everybody understand that? And again, I don't have to stress over this one because it has all day to do it. And my risk is already capped at $19 a contract. Everybody understand that one? No, it is not in the money right now, James. I was looking for a bargain. Okay, that's the best way for me to explain it to you. This, and a lot of people actually get confused on this. Let's go to the bull spreads. Let's go to the Dow. And I did this same exact thing. Because I entered this before 8 o'clock, I had to do the daily. You could do the 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. again. I would be looking for this area. You know, I'm pretty much getting the same price. It's 3-point difference. Okay, but what I have found, and this is what I used to do when I was looking at the spreads, I was looking at these prices because that's what we do on the binaries. Okay, this is the price that you pay to enter that spread. Okay, what you want to pay attention to are these numbers. The left is the floor, the right is always the ceiling. Okay, so for example, right now, the Dow, if we look at the Dow again, the Dow is at 821. So, number one, I think the market's going to go down. I need to look to the right number, okay? And I need a number that's closest to 821, okay? 17,100 is not close. 16,950, not close. This is the closest number to where price is. Do y'all understand that? I want to sell, so I'm looking to the right of the number. Now, to sell it, I would have to actually click on bid. The current bid price is 16,784. Okay? So roughly about 16 points. That's what my risk would be. So if the market goes straight up this morning and I am totally off of it, I'm only going to lose $16 on that trade. Does everybody understand it now? Okay. And it very well could be that the unemployment comes in, the market goes up, and then at 10 o'clock the Philly Fed comes out and the market goes down. Okay? And that, if I believed it would happen, or if I wanted to, I could have done 2 spreads like we did yesterday in class. Okay? Alright. So in the ES, you could actually also do this morning, excuse me. I think I'm still half asleep. Okay, so if you believe this magenta peak is coming in, okay, and this is going to retrace down to 1935, let's again go back to the binaries and let's go to the US 500, okay, that's based on the ES. All right, let's start with the 8 a.m. to 4:15 p.m., okay. Price is at 1949.25. I believe it's going down. I need a number to the right that is very close to this number, okay? In this case, it would be this one at 1950, okay? And it's roughly going to cost, for one contract, it would cost $33, and if it moves the entire 30 points, the profit potential is $267. Does everybody understand? No problem, James. Okay. Now, the other one that you can go to also is the daily. You can do exactly the same thing. So, you know, if you really believe It's going to retrace back to that ATR that would give you 2 trades instead of 1 trade. Everybody understand that? And this one's going to end in about 8 minutes. So I may actually enter that one if this comes up with diverging volume. Dan, do you understand what you were doing wrong now? Okay. Now, the other thing I wanted really to get you to pay attention to this morning is over on the Forex market. The Aussie's coming down, the dollar is going up. Now, this is set to a 45-minute chart, so this would be intraday trading. The Japanese yen is coming down, the dollar is going up. The USD Swiss franc is, the Swiss franc is coming down, the dollar is going up. So, and the dollar was oversold. You can see that it was right at this green line. So what I would be anticipating is if these head towards each other, you would also get some good trades in the Forex market as well. Okay. And I always have this open, always. Now, that's not using a higher time frame. You can set this to any higher time frame you want. But let's just go over and look at the USD JPY because there was a trade that came in on that. And this was earlier this morning. I actually did a binary on this one and it was at 101.76. You do have to look for a price that's near where your ATR is, and as you can see it did go up. Let's go over, let's see, the other one is the Aussie. Now on this one the Aussie should be going down because the dollar is going up. Okay, here's another one that you could have done on the Aussie. Okay, so you come here and you say, okay, here's the ATR line. Okay, and it's at 94.18. So you would want to find an area of price that is around that area. And on the Aussie, I believe it's 10 ticks. Yep. So this one is at 94.18. And they had one at 94.18. So you could have done that one, and of course it went down. Okay, so these are excellent examples of, just keep an eye on the meter to say, hey, which ones would be good to trade right now. But there's absolutely no buyers here, honey. You had a high here, which is at almost at the same level, but absolutely no buyers. Here they tried to come in and they couldn't even take out this high. So yeah, there's divergence there. Okay. Now the other one that I told you about is the USD Swiss franc. The USD Swiss franc, USD is the first, so it should be going up. Okay, this is where buyers came in, 89.25, and I'll go over and look and see where those binaries are. You actually had one at 89.22 on that binary. Okay? So again, it's just an excellent example of how you can use the currency meter to actually say, okay, which pairs should I trade this morning? And of course the currency meter is telling you, look at the Aussie, the Swiss franc, let's, look at the yen compared to the dollars. Okay? Does everybody understand that? Yeah, it is, because what it's telling you, Dan, is the dollar, it was weak. It was actually oversold, okay? And of course the Aussie was overbought, and it was overbought here, okay? So now the Aussie has weakness, but the dollar has strength. The Swiss franc has weakness, but the dollar is gaining in strength. The yen has weakness, but the dollar is gaining in strength. So, find me an ATR on a 3 minute, I'm good to go. Check your volume to make sure that you're not getting a lot of, volume in there. Again, this is a 45 minute. You could set it up to a 60 minute, a 120, a 240 minute, all day, just whatever you want to trade. And I would agree with you in that it is probably one of the easiest setups if you're trading Forex. Now, I will say this, not all markets are open with hourly binaries during London. The USD is Swiss franc is one that's not. So I limited it to the USD JPY and the Euro US dollar. And I was just going in clipping $30 a contract all morning. Yeah, what I would do is pretty much the same rules that we use on the Buddha. In other words, if I'm seeing it on the 45, I go to the 3 minute. If I was doing it on the 180, I would go to the 12 minute. If I was doing it on the 720, I would go to a 45 minute. I know there's a lot of Forex traders that trade the 60 minute and the 120 and the 240 and the 360. Yeah, there's nothing magical about any of these time frames. What's magical is the discipline that you have to take the trades and manage the trades, really. And the other thing is, if I see a peak come in here, if I see a peak come in here, I'm looking for a trade. And those you can actually get pretty good with the premiums, okay? Yeah, spreads too if you're using longer time frames. One of the articles that I just finished talked about creating a safe environment so that you can overcome most of the psychological issues of trading. And in all honesty, I think Nadex has come up with a very safe environment for the trader's mentality. So as soon as I finish that, I'll send it out, or I'll let you know where it's published. But it is really the safer environment as far as our mentality goes in protecting our mindset. Because we all know that's the biggest obstacle in trading. We can all learn indicators pretty quickly when compared to the psychological component. Okay? Didn't mean to go off topic, but then again, that's what I do. All right, let's go over and look at gold. We didn't look at gold this morning. I still have this bad tick in gold. I've got to call Ninja Trader about it. But you do see that gold is going up and has been pretty much going up all morning. Now, what I would be looking at, because I can't use my higher time frames until I contact Ninja. Yeah, I've redone my databases and everything, and I still get this bad tick. I don't know what's going on. I'm going to talk to Ninja about it today. I would be watching the ADX today. If it gets over 70, then I know that I'm going to be going short at some point on the 3-minute. I cannot use my higher time frames because of that bad tick. Any questions on gold? All right, let's go over and look at crude today. Uh, it's quite funny. Crude did exactly what we thought it would yesterday. And the binaries were actually giving us a heads up on that one as well. Because if you remember correctly, all the binaries were saying that, crude was going to go down and stay below the 106.50 region, and it did. So we're getting a magenta peak here. It should retrace back to the ATR. The one area that you would have of concern today would be the 105.16 area. If you go up to the 180 minute, it should at least pull back right now to 105.45. Then you'll need to watch it when it gets to that area, because again, it could pop back up. Does everybody understand that? Now, if we go over and we actually look at crude, um, let's see, 8 to 10 a.m. I don't really see any good options there. Um, these are the only options that I actually see right now. This would be a premium collector, only because you are deep in the money on this one. I mean, crude would have to pop all the way up here for you not to collect that premium. I'm sorry, it's 106.05. It would have to pop up to here for you not to collect that premium. With the market report out in 2 minutes, I probably wouldn't take that. Now, in addition to that one, you could also say, okay, do the dailies have anything available? And of course, as you can see, the dailies have a lot more available. You've got here, here, and here. I'm not seeing anything that I would want to take. The 106 is, deep in the money. Could you actually collect premium on that if it was not a market report in 60 seconds? Yeah, I'd collect premium on it. But with the market report in 60 seconds, I'm not going to try to do that. Okay? I'm going to put it back over on the ES and see what the ES is doing. Let's see if the unemployment claims that came out. They actually came in at 312K. They were expecting 316K. Previous month was 317, so they actually went down. So now it's just a matter of whether they take the market up or take the market down. And it doesn't look like they're doing much of anything. while we're waiting on this, I did get the video posted from yesterday, guys. So y'all can go in and watch that. Now, sometimes you do have to refresh that screen to actually see the latest updates. I would be interested in seeing what the ES does on that 12-minute. Do you see how it's approaching the congestion dot? Okay. And right now it's doing it on diverging volume. Now, that still has another 4 minutes left in it, so we could see a big change in that. Okay, but if it does end with divergence, then I would expect it to come down to 1948. Okay, now this market analyzer is something I have open all the time, because when the U.S. market opens, and I won't be here when the U.S. market opens, I'll be on the live edge, then you'll see this lights up with all of the peaks that potentially will come in. So I like trading those. And then if you just see a lot of magenta, that tells you you have a trend day. So you know, okay, I'm not going to try to counter trend trade these. I'm going to actually trend trade. I think the one that we didn't go over this morning, guys, was the DAX. And I do love the DAX, no doubt about it. You do see that we didn't retrace back to the ATR. It is moving up. If I move this off for a moment, you can see that we did flip this ATR. This is moving up, moving up, moving up. This is moving up. Did not complete the retracement back to the ATR. You can see you had large divergence there. You can also see over here on the 12-minute, it did not even retrace back to the congestion dots. Basically, there was just no sellers in the market at all. So now it's going up. Any questions on the DAX? Well, y'all just don't have any questions today, do you? It depends on whether I'm in a trade or not, Dan, as to whether I prefer a retracement to the congestion dots. The reason is, let's say that we had been in this trade because we did have a lack of sellers on this pullback. So let's say that you were in a binary option here. Then, you know, as long as it does not break through this congestion dot, I'm probably willing to stay with it. Okay. If I'm entering, then yeah, I do like it to get closer to this congestion dot. I will, Dave. I have this set up for 1 and 3 and 12 and 45 and 45 180 and 720 1440. Yeah, if you're talking about an entry, Dan, yeah, I like to get it as close to that congestion dot as possible. Those are the better ones. All right, any other questions this morning, guys? Because if not, I'm going to go ahead and look over and try to get some trades in. I still have almost an hour before the market opens. I can get in some more binaries before the market even opens. All right. No other questions. I'm going to go ahead and end the room. I did record the session, so if you missed a portion of it, you can come back and look at it. I'll get it posted later today. Okay? Everybody have a wonderful day. Have a wonderful weekend, and I'll see you again on Monday. Oh, also for those that are planning to attend Las Vegas, where we're really going to be focused on binaries, there's only 6 seats left for that. Okay? So everybody have a wonderful